Greetings Exiles, I am Jay and I welcome you to my Brand Inquisitor 3.8 starter build guide. If you've seen it in my compilation of all my starter builds that I am planning for 3.8, you saw that this one is right up there. This is rank 2 and that's because it has everything. It has clear speed, it has single target, it has toughness. You can upgrade the build in pretty much every single way. It's a little bit tough to play, but you're super speedy even in leveling. Let's get into it. First and foremost, the thing about this build is, and why I recommend playing this build, is that Stormbrand or brands overall bring huge utility. You can simply place a Stormbrand like somewhere at the edge of your screen. It will attach to enemies right there and it will kill the enemies while you're walking. This means your leveling speed is like through the roof. It's just pretty much unbeaten, and this is why Stormbrand was, for like 2 seasons I think, or 2 leagues, was the fastest skill to level with, and we are focusing on it. So, but why Inquisitor? Well, especially for the beginning of the league, Inquisitor grants us huge damage buffs, because we don't need penetration. And you always need penetration if you're fighting against bosses, because bosses are tanky, bosses have resistances and stuff like that, so you need penetration for those. So you're going to shred every single boss. It doesn't matter if it's a white mob, it doesn't matter if it's a rare mob, it doesn't matter if it's a unique mob, you're always going to shred these resistances. So it doesn't matter what you fight, you will always get your full damage. Other than that, Inquisitor is just, or I should say Templar is really close to the like super juicy brand nodes, just pretty much just as a wedge, but Inquisitor is faster in leveling. When it comes to mapping, Inquisitor doesn't really grant us too much else than Instruments of Virtue, but hey, that's not a big problem, because we are going to use our smite anyway. So we have high movement speed, we have our pretty damn fast flame dash because it got buffed, and you are going to just put down like 2 or 3 brands, kill a pack, move to the next pack, put down 2 or 3 brands, kill the pack, move to the next pack, use brand recall. So it has a really smooth playstyle, if you want to say that. What I really like about this build is you can stay far away. So if it's a dangerous situation, you just proc a Beyond Boss on a tier 60 map, or you're fighting Shaper or Elder, you can just stand far away, place your brands on them, run around, focus on dodging, and then, you know, after like a few seconds you maybe have to replace 1 or 2 brands. So it is really easy to kill bosses with this build. Map clearing is super fast because the brands are actually chaining, so what else do you want else than just a big huge chain of damage? So if you place a brand down, it kills the enemy, it attaches itself to the next enemy, and so on, until the pack is pretty much finished. During that time you can move, do anything, you can dodge, just, I don't know, or just stay and wait until everything is dead, because you don't have to do anything else, literally. When it comes to the skill requirement of this build, I gave this one a 3 out of 5, so 5 is noob build and 1 is for pros. I gave this a 3 because brands are not brands are really easy to play, but to be like the max, or to reach the maximum efficiency, you really want to use your brand recall in the correct times or in the correct use cases. As well as that, you want to use your smite here and there to get your attack speed and cast speed buff from your Ascendancy, and you want to use smite as well to get high damage buffs. So this is one thing. In order to use smite, we can have a look at the skill gem here. In order to use smite, it says you need sword, axe, mace, staff, or unarmed. This is why we are going for a mace. Doriana's Catalyst should be relatively cheap in the early league, just like 40 to 50 chaos maybe. If you can't spend that money early on, which you pretty much can't once you're into maps, you can just use a rare one with like spell damage, lightning damage to spells, spell crit, stuff like that, you know. The build gets most of its like survivability from pure HP and also quite a lot of energy shield. Because we are going for a shield, we don't need dual wielding, we are dealing way more than enough damage, so we don't need dual wielding. We can use a shield, we can use some energy shield items, we can use energy shield leech on our Stormbrand, so that's not a huge deal. And as I said earlier, if there's a dangerous situation, just don't move close to that enemy. Place the Stormbrand, focus on dodging until the enemy's dead, which shouldn't take long, because we are looking at around 1.8 million DPS, which is good, which is really strong, because we literally have only one item that might be expensive, which is the Impulsas, but last league the Impulsas was like 10 chaos, so it's really hard to predict the prices on these items. Other than that, what you want to do with this build is you want to swap out Chain for Hypothermia. So use Chain in mapping and then you use Hypothermia in boss fights. You want to use your Smite here or there a few times. And then there's actually not that much to say. For big bosses you also want to put down your Opal Storms on the boss. You will curse the boss with Assassin's Mark, and once they are in culling range, which means 10% HP, they will instantly die from the Opal Storms. Just drop it on huge bosses that you have problems with, so don't bother placing it during any map runs or stuff like that. We are going to use Wrath and Flesh and Stone as our main auras. Both of these are just OP, in my opinion. Wrath especially for the lightning damage, and Flesh and Stone to even further prevent damage that we would get from enemies that are farther away. And even if enemies get close to you, this aura will blind them, pretty much giving you a 50% chance to evade. Other than that, we are using a Precision. Precision is in here for the global critical strike chance. You need a lot of crit in order to deal your damage, because you only penetrate everything if you crit him. But that shouldn't be any problem. Level up your precision as you want, because Stormbrand is actually quite a hefty mana cost. So in my build it has a mana cost of 77. So putting down 3 or 4 Stormbrands could be hard if you like reserve too much mana. Also, for your mana regen, you want to go for some mana regen crafts on pretty much anywhere, on your shield, on your rings, or on your amulet. Doesn't really matter where you want it, just kind of like you will feel how much mana regen you need. So whether you feel like you need more, then simply craft more. If you don't need that much, then maybe you can leave out all of them. I was fine using 40% mana regen on my shield, and this 6% of damage taken gain is mana of 4 seconds from on a ring. So this is pretty much all the mana regen I had. Other than that, pretty much straightforward ascendancies. The reason why we are playing the Inquisitor is in Inevitable Judgment. Super OP early on into the league, because you don't need any gear to deal high tier or to deal high damage against pretty much every single target. So it doesn't matter if you're fighting a boss or any other mob. Then we are going for Instruments of Virtue. This actually grants us attack speed and cast speed if we attacked recently. Our Smite is an attack and also a huge damage buff. So just use it once in a while in a map, like every 4 seconds. If you want to have full uptime, you don't have to worry about the spellcast, because your Stormbrand is a spell, your Opal Storms is a spell, your Brand Recall is a spell, so don't worry about that. And last we're going for Curia of Penitence. This is... well, the thing is, normally you don't want to be close to enemies, right? But once enemies get close to you, you need more damage than you needed before, because you want to get them away from you, you want to get rid of them. So Curia of Penitence does that. It actually also prevents you from a little bit of elemental damage, which is necessary because we are going to rock around 5.5k HP and around 1k energy shield. This is extremely tanky for a starter build, but we are not having like any high evasion or armor rating, so we need to get every single point of defense we can get. Jewels just get some life and some crit multi for either spells or elemental skills or lightning skills, stuff like that, you know. Crit multi extremely OP in this build, and I think that's it. So if you have any questions, just leave a comment down below, and I will be happy to answer that. This is one of the 3 builds I'm considering to play as a League starter in 3.8. So if you wanna see me play that, head over to twitch/playlikeJ, give me a follow, and I will see you there. And don't forget to check out my other build guides I've uploaded for 3.8. There's probably something that you like if you do not like this OP build. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for learning with me. I am Jay. I'm out.